So one of the questions that I'm usually asked is, just what does a computer guy's junk hoard look like? Well, you're about to find out, and it's about to get considerably smaller. As in this video, we are going to go through my junk hoard, and we are going to make a run to the recyclers tomorrow. So this is currently the junk hoard. I've already had it done some cleaning and I've got it down to 2 boxes. Most of this box is already going to be recycled anyway, and then most of this box will end up going to recycle with a few things being kept. Most of what is in here is cables and random, that's why it's just thrown in. Hard drives that are wrapped up in static bags and also labeled, but to be completely honest, I don't need these anymore. That motherboard is going to be a keep. All the motherboards I'm going to keep. If I ever get an office with a blank wall, I want to do a motherboard wall. So let's get the flashlight on and let's get started. So let's get started in here. Most of this should be stuff that I gutted from the old computers. This came out of a Dell Optiplex G1. This was actually marked for going away. It's a creative modem. And I happened to notice that that is an ISA bus, and that had a creative sound card in it. And it is a CT4520. And this will work perfectly for my IBM PS2. I just need to find the boot disk for my IBM so that I can tell it that the card is in there. So that'll be a good video when that is up. So that's recycled. Lord knows how old floppy drive covered in dust with no front. It's an OEM drive, so no front cover. That's recycle. The Dell power supply, I'm pretty sure these were back when, these were back when they were custom pinouts, so you could only use them with their motherboards. Some IDE cables, really old. 1996, so this was out of that same Dell compact disk drive. I have zero realistic use for that. So this stuff is all recycle. I don't have any need for that, nor do I have space to keep it around. This is a Western Digital 1600. December 18, 2005. So this is just a random, might have come out of the Pentium 3 system that I tore down. I don't need that. This is the BioStar TF720A2 Plus. I actually had bought 2 of these. This currently has an Athlon 64X2 5050E in it because it was a low power chip. I think it's a 45 watt chip. I used one in the NAS and I used one for Dad's computer. This is the one from Dad's old computer. I'm going to be doing a Windows XP build with this. I'm going to grab a Phenom X4 9850. So yeah, it wouldn't be an Athlon 64 2, it would just be an Athlon 64 X2. It's only an AM2 Plus. It's a version 6.0. The CPU support list says it'll do up to a Phenom 2 965, but I'm not going to take the risk in it. It's not worth it, because if the Phenom 2 doesn't work, then I'm out the money for that processor, and it's not going to be a big enough difference. It's not going to be used. It's going to be built for a video, benchmarked, played around with, and then put on a shelf in case I ever want to mess with it again. So this will be cleaned up and ran. It's got 4 gigs of RAM in it, which is all I need, and then I'm probably going to pair it with a GTX 9800. So that will need to be put into a bag, static bag. Zip ties with some mounts. I think that goes with the Cooler Master case that Panther is in. Bunch of these Hitachi 2.5-inch 160 gig. I don't need them. It's a PlayStation 3 USB charger, lightning cable. I really don't need the old IDE hard drives. Now that board has SATA This is cool. This is a Pentium 3 500 megahertz, one that was on one of the cards. That's kind of cool. I may just keep it just for display. Pulled the heatsink off, cleaned it up. I'm going to just keep that for display. That is the noise that you hear if you hear it. This is a printer IDE cable, so we'll keep that. What is this? 2x 256 meg DDR2. I do not have a need for that. Zip ties, we'll keep those. This is a Seagate 3.5 inch IDE 120 gig. I don't need that. Hitachi 2.5 inch 120 gig. I don't need that. IDE 80 gig Western Digital. I don't need that. The problem with all these drives is 160 gig, 120 gig, 160 gig. I can get a 240 gig SSD in the same form factor for $25-30. It's not worth keeping these old 2.5 inch hard drives. I don't trust their reliability. Scorpio Blue, if you want to focus. 160 gig Scorpio Blue. I really want to keep that, but I can get a SSD for that for $20 for that. This is from an old project. 2x 256 meg RDRAM 800. That's Rambus RAM. That was from the motherboard that went with the Pentium, with the slot 1 Pentium. We could never get working, and it just wasn't cost effective to try to keep messing with it. Oh, this is cool. Ballistics Tracer 2x 1 gig DDR2 800. You know what? I'm gonna keep this. Doing a Windows XP build would only be 32. I may not do 4 gigs. I may just do 2 gigs in this and put the tracer in there, because that'd be pretty cool. Because I was looking at cases earlier, and it's probably going to be a windowed case. So that'd be a pretty cool effect, actually. This is an iOmega USB zip drive, supporting 100 and 250 megabyte disks. That we're going to keep, just because it's some old tech that's kind of fun. This I just pulled out of another system. This is 4x 2 gig DDR2. This is going to be kept. I have a Core 2 Extreme, I think it's a 9650, with a dead motherboard. So that will be another upcoming project as well. Let's see, this is a 2x512 DDR2 pass. This is a IDE DVD. IDE DVD. I'm gonna keep this. Just because I have a CD drive in my IBM, and that's worth hanging on to just in case that something happens to that. This is a 160 gig IDE. That can go. This is a fairly long Ethernet cable. The Xbox will appreciate that, as will I. Another lightning cable. Let's see, that is a male-to-male VGA cable. Male-to-male VGA cable. Power cord. 1/4 inch to RCA. That's actually for the soundboard that I have out in the barn that is probably getting close to recycled itself, because it probably isn't going to be much good. HDMI cable, that can go with my gaming stuff. SATA cable, keep that. 8-pin extension cable. These were bought because I had a case where the power supply set in one corner and I didn't have any cables long enough to reach it, so I have a 24-pin extension cable in here too somewhere. Another SATA cable. This is 2 gigs DDR3 laptop memory. There's another one of those floating around somewhere from a laptop I tore down. I do not have a need for that anymore. This is a big box of motherboards. We'll set that aside and go through that in a minute. This is my complete floppy drive. This one we will keep. That is a known good and complete floppy drive. Yep, and here's the 24-pin extension cable. This is my very basic cable tester. When I say very basic, I mean very basic. Plug cable into each end and it'll tell you just if what lights up on one end. If they both light up correctly, then everything works. It's super basic, but it works, so we'll keep it. Got another IDE drive, another IDE drive. This is a Western Digital Caviar 8.4 gig. This came out of the Optiplex. I would have liked to have kept it, but it was so nasty, the case was so discolored, and it's all proprietary, so I just said forget it. SMC, this does not have any other information on it, and I'm pretty positive that is a 10100, so that will go away. SATA DVD drive, LG, keep that. Antec Earthwatch 500, we will keep that. That is a known good, decent quality power supply. We have another power cord, Corsair fan. I think it's an LED. Oh, it might be an LED. Yeah, it is an LED fan. This came out of the case that I got when I was given the guts to Silver Lake. That thing was so dirty, I literally had to pull it completely apart and give the entire motherboard a sponge bath before it would run reliably. And that motherboard has ran reliably for the 1.5 years since I've done that. So don't discount sponge bathing your PC. But also don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. So this is honestly so dirty that I'm not even going to mess with it. If I need a fan, I'll buy Noctua. Basic 2-prong power cord. The hard drive. This is Seagate 3.5 160. So this is kind of cool. This is a 5.25 to 3.5 adapter specifically designed for a hard drive. This is the type of thing that I use in the Carbide 200 that is housing my NAS. So that gives me an extra drive bay in there. These are actually not available on Amazon anymore, so that is a definite keep. This is a 2.5 to 3.5 adapter for twin SSDs. That is a keep. I hate this keyboard because one of the feet is broken off, but it's the only PS2 keyboard that I have, and I need it for my IBM, so that is a keep. Let's see, DVI cable, that is a keep, and another SATA cable, that is a keep. HDMI female to female keystone, keep, even though I doubt I'll ever use it, but it's $7 I won't have to spend again if I do ever need it. Another SATA cable. Super Talent 2x 1 gig DDR2 800. Kingston 256 meg DDR, don't need it. Kingston 2x 1 gig DDR3 unknown, don't need it. ATEC 2x 1 gig DDR 333, don't need it. Let's see, VGA to DVI, that actually can come in quite handy. 2 more power cables. Oh, I don't need the, it's a generic 2-prong. I don't need the 2-prong, but I'll keep the 3-prong since I'm doing a couple more builds. Another SATA cable. This is a, this thing was so sought after 10 years ago. So this is a chat cable for a Turtle Beach X12 headset. And if you worked at GameStop in 2011, 2012, you were asked for this cable at least twice a day, 7 days a week. And I don't think I've still got my X12. I think that got damaged in the basement. Either way, I wouldn't be using it for chat anyway, so you can all collectively scream no, but that's in recycle. Let's see, this is a Molex 2 3-pin power fan for a fan. We'll keep that. Wireless Microsoft mouse, mobile mouse 3500. Actually, is a decent mouse. We'll keep that. Let's see. Oh, this. I'm going to keep it because I know that its mate is around somewhere. This is a power adapter for a Creative Zen. Because at the time I wanted an iPod, but one of the guys that I was friends with at the time had a Creative Zen, talked me into that instead, and I did love it. I really did love it for what I used it. It's around somewhere, but where, I'm not 100% sure. Probably right next to my PS2 boot disc. And this, I'm going to keep this one, since I already got rid of one, just until I go through my game stuff, so I know I have everything that I need. And the other 2 gig DDR3, cheap membrane USB keyboard, that can go. And then we've got some miscellaneous USB adapters. Actually, that's a high-speed Apple adapter, so we'll keep that. This is also from that Turtle Beach X12. You would plug your 3.5 into here, and that would convert it into stereo RCAs with pass-throughs. This is actually still a pretty handy cable to have, so I will keep that. And then we have 2 sticks of PC3 8500. This is Special Ops Edition from OCZ. It's cool. I don't know, I think I might keep like 1 stick of every style of RAM, kind of like the Free Geek board from when Linus did the tour of Free Geek, just so I have an example of every style. I think that'd be kind of cool. Definitely keeping 1 of these either way. So I'll probably go through and pull a stick from each RAM style. What was this down here? That's a 300 watt power supply. That is going to go. I don't have a use for anything that small anymore. Not 100%. I think this is from the Windows 98 PC that I have. I'm not going to be pulling the floppy drive out of that, so that can go. And this is empty. And this is actually pretty close to full. So, cool. So, let me find some rubber bands or something to try to get this whole mess a little more cleaned up, and we'll get it back into here. And we will complete the tour. I've also got 2 more cheap membrane USB keyboards back here that are going to go, because I just don't have a use for them anymore. Almost forgot. The motherboard box. So this is the board that was in the Dell system. It has Pentium 133, I believe it was. It was a Pentium 133, first generation Pentium. So that's pretty cool. I'm probably just going to clean it up with rubbing alcohol and just leave the processor in the board whenever I get around to doing a wall or a display of some kind. And then this has 72 pin, yep, 72 pin sim. Which was the bane of my existence for so much when I was young. I remember paying $100 for a 64 megabyte stick of this stuff. I don't remember how big these are. I think it had 32 megs on it. So one of those aside. So that'll be saved for the wall. This is the Pentium 3 board. I was kind of hoping there'd be some memory in this. Up there, there's the memory. All right. So what is this? This is Intel. Oh no, this is a Pentium 4. This is a different system. This isn't the system I thought it was. Pentium 4 2.66 on a 478. This thing, I think, I don't, all the caps look fine, but I think it had capacitor issues. Either way, it does not run correctly, and I really don't have a use for a random Pentium 4. This system is one that I have used plenty of times. Standard AV cable, keep that. This is an ASRock N68C GSFX, and this system was my test bench for a very, very long time. It has DDR2 and DDR3, supports up to 8-core Phenom 2s on the AM2 Plus, AM3, and AM3 Plus platform. However, it only supports a maximum of a 95 watt TDP processor, which is limiting to a degree. The thing that is annoying about this is that because it is dual in almost everything and supports so much stuff, that it is a pain to get drivers for it. And so it has been retired. This has an Athlon 2X2260 in it. This has been retired and will be for display when that time comes. And then this is the Pentium 3. This is Intel board, I think. This is a first party Intel board. Do not even see a branding on it. I'm pretty sure this is an Intel branded board, but I'm not 100%. PC133 sync DRAM. Pentium 3 clocked, I believe, at 933. And really, no, that's not the thing for it. Actually, the thing for that might be, the IO shield for that is down there. I may try powering this up again. I may swap this with the one that's in my Windows 98 machine, because that machine is just kind of falling in on itself and just blowing itself up. And that's got a Celeron. This has an actual Pentium, so I may clean it up and do that swap. Because it can't find the CD drive or the sound card, and I've reinstalled Windows from the CD and it still can't find it. So if I'm gonna have to wipe it, I may just do it that way. Especially since both boards use PC133, and here is some PC133. PC133, 128 megabytes. And what is this one? 133, 256 megabytes. With a compact part number. Cool. Okay, so we're going to put the 133 on the display, and then 256 we will put into the, we'll save that for the Windows 98 system, whichever stuff I end up using for it. So these guys, I'm not really concerned about static protecting them, because they're just sitting around until I have enough together to it'll be fine. I don't know if I'll swap that one out or not. I may not. We'll see. But these will be fine, be just sitting around until I have use for them. So let's get everything packed back in here, and we'll call it a night. Alright, so we are picked up, cleaned up. I will end up with one box, one case, and 2 plastic bags of recycle that will be passed on tomorrow. So that will greatly get rid of a lot of stuff. Most of what I am keeping I won't ever use, but I'm not yet to the point of being ready to get rid of it. Maybe, you know, next year, maybe we'll see how it goes. I get a couple projects done, and then most everything that I'll be doing will involve new hardware. So yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, thanks for checking out my junk and my garbage, recyclable. So see you on the next one.